Hey everyone, we are going to get going here in just a few minutes. For those of you, this is the Ask Matt Anything call. So I'll be here for up to 2 hours. A number of you have already submitted questions. So this is for anyone that is thinking about getting into the cash-based medical space or is already in the cash-based medical space, and maybe they're struggling a little bit. Maybe you're looking to walk away from your insurance practice. Maybe you're looking to start a cash-based practice from scratch. Whatever the questions are that you have for today, you can go right ahead and ask them of me. So this is, I've never done this before, and I get a lot of questions that come into our company. People respond to emails and things like that, and we never really have like the kind of forum to really just put everybody in a group call and cover all of this. So that's what we're going to do today. So let's go ahead and we're going to dive in. Let me just do a couple of quick housekeeping things here. All right, so we've got all of our stuff running, which is always good. That's always an important thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on this. And again, we are live streaming on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, feel free to go ahead and ask a question there. If you are, like I said, you can post on LinkedIn, you can ask me a question on LinkedIn, you can put a question here into the chat, or if you didn't ask it, and I'm more than happy to dive into it. So let's dive into these first and foremost. So let's see, the first one we got here is we have a question from, and I'm just going to go right down the list. These are in no particular order. This is from Surmeet. And Surmeet asks the question, how do I pick which medical treatment or medical product to market so there is a strong ROI? And the second question is how do I grow my practice? Okay, so the first part is, how do I pick what medical treatment or medical product to market so that there is a strong return on investment? Well, I'm impressed, Surmeet, that you actually are asking about return on investment, because that's really the most important thing, right? Because a business operates on getting a return on investment. Actually, a business operates on a thing called margin. So you have to have significant margin in order for a business to operate. And the first way I would answer on that, so the answer to that question is twofold. There are a couple of markets that do incredibly well. Regenerative / orthobiologics, anti-aging / functional medicine, and I'm talking like uber high end. Men's sexual health, not so much women's sexual health. Women's sexual health isn't bolt on, it's after they've bought something from you. The other one is medically guided weight loss is outstanding. Those are kind of the real good big ones. Okay. Now let's kind of just walk through them a little bit, because I think it's kind of important that you get a really good sense of these. You ask a really important question, is that we want to, in the beachhead, in my system in the beachhead, the first step is what we call the beachhead. So we have to have a very specific offer to a very specific group. So it's one message, one market. We have one message to one market with one offer. Okay. And so we want to really zero in on what is the pain and what is the thing that is keeping people awake at night. So that's really the thing that you want to solve. And if you think about, I'll compare erectile dysfunction to hormone replacement therapy. We look for a thing that is called a bleeding neck. And the bleeding neck concept is very, very simple, in that if you have a skinned knee, what are you going to do? Well, if you have a skinned knee, you're probably going to put some Neosporin on it, put a Band-Aid on it and go about it. But what if you have a bleeding neck? You're going to stop what you're doing and you're going to go find a solution. Okay. So too many times people are marketing what is called a skinned knee. They are not marketing a bleeding neck. So when you want to find something that's going to give you a great ROI, what you want to do is you want to look for the thing that is a bleeding neck. So in our case, erectile dysfunction was a bleeding neck. We wanted somebody that had a 2-year failure cycle, that had failed trying to use pills, potions, pumps, and porn. Okay. We never wanted somebody that had just experienced their first round of ED. We wanted somebody that had been struggling with erectile dysfunction for quite some time because they had a bleeding neck. They were in a lot of pain. Contrast this, by the way, to people who have hormone deficiency, like they need hormone replacement therapy. Well, you're losing 2 to 3% per year, starting in your late 20s, early 30s. So you really don't realize how bad you feel until you get treated. So the problem is you just think that, I'm 55 years old. have a lot of my friends, my college buddies. I'm still in contact with a lot of them, hang out with them all on a regular basis. And they're always complaining about being tired, of not having any energy, of, wanting to just take a nap in the middle of the day, lack of focus, lack of clarity. I'm like, well, you've got a hormone deficiency. Why don't we get you treated? And like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, they're not in pain enough. They just think this is a normal part of the aging. Whereas if they were unable to perform in the bedroom, they'd be like, fix me. Okay. They know. So you want to go after people that have an issue that is a bleeding neck. The treatment protocol, the machine, the procedure is secondary to the issue that the prospect is dealing with. Okay. So you want to make sure that it's a bleeding neck, that they will crawl across broken glass, butt ass naked from Miami to Seattle in order to get the solution, assuming you're in Seattle or wherever you are. Okay. So really, really important that you get really clear on that. Okay. So you want to make sure that's how you want to pick you're not picking a medical treatment or a medical product. You're picking what's the bleeding neck for the patient. Okay. Then you say, okay, what's the best way to treat this? So in our case with erectile dysfunction, we did Trimix. Now, today, I wouldn't do Trimix. Today, I would do PRP, shockwave therapy, tadalafil. I would do a couple of different modalities. The Trimix was fantastic, but there's just a lot of user error. There's a lot of challenges with it, things like that. So I would, so in that case, like my doctors that work in regenerative, they are selling a solution for people to be able to do X again, play golf, work out, run, bike, hike, whatever it is. Okay. So I hope that answers the first question. The second question is how do I grow my practice? Well, there's a couple of questions I would ask you is one, I think you're a pain doc. And so if you have a current insurance practice, what I would tell you to do is market directly to your insurance patients your new protocol. Okay. We actually do this for our clients in what's called Business Mastery Fellowship. I'll put a link in here later on if you want to read about it. We actually can help you. We can help you generate like 20 to 30 grand pretty quickly, depending on the size of your list. I won't go into all the detail on that right now. You can talk to one of our team a little bit more if you want it, but the whole thing is that the first and easiest way to grow a practice is to market to an existing list. Even if you think that your existing insurance list doesn't have any money, I can promise you they have money. We have clients that have 85% Medicare and Medicaid client base, and they're in either rural markets or they're in lower income urban markets, and they're able to generate $40,000 to $50,000 a month just marketing to their existing list. Okay. So there are people that will buy. It's not everybody, but if you have 5 to 10% people that will buy, I mean, if you have a list of 1,000 names and 10% are going to buy from you, and they're going to spend on an average of $5,000, well, there's, and you get 100 sales. That's a lot of money. It's 500 grand. It's pretty good. So that's the first thing I like to do. If you're starting from square one, what I think you should do is I think you should be doing a video strategy. And my good friend Atiba D'Souza teaches our clients how to do that, or folks in Business Mastery Fellowship. Again, shameless plug for Business Mastery Fellowship. There's training there on how to do this. I think you should be doing video in short form and long form, and you should be posting it in every single place that you possibly can. Do not edit with social media. Everybody's like, well, I don't think my client's on Twitter. I don't think my client's on Instagram, or I don't think my client's on Facebook, or I don't think they're on TikTok. It doesn't matter. Post it everywhere. Okay. We generally like to take videos, post them on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn and TikTok and Instagram and whatever else I can post it on. And we generally will take that and move it into a podcast. But the best thing you can do is just use video, right, to get that out there. I'm not a real big fan of marketing on Facebook in the beginning. I don't think it's very effective. I think they're the lowest life form of clients. I'm not a real big fan of going to other doctors to get them to refer people to you, because they won't. It's been my experience, very rare that they do. There are always exceptions to the rule, but it's incredibly rare. And a lot of times if they're an insurance hospital provider, they can't refer outside of the network. So immediately you're eliminating like 80% of the market. And quite frankly, you're going to have to learn the strategies of marketing. I would stay away from tactics. I would stay away from the agencies that are saying, hey, we're going to market for you on Facebook, or hey, we're going to build an overall strategy for you to market your practice. Okay. But if you have a list, that's the easiest and fastest way to go. Okay. Let's go to the next question here. Let's see. And some of these are really long. And by the way, some of them are really short. So if you're on, I might ask for some clarity on this. Okay, so the next one is, let me just go over here. It's Davender. So actually, I think you're on right now. So the question is this strategy in the email campaign, but how long do you bring in new patients without knowing their email? I'm not sure I understand this question. So if you could type, I think you're online right now. If you would do me a favor, and could you type in the chat a little bit more clarity on this? Or if you want, I can bring you up live and you can ask the question to me. I am going to ask to unmute you right now. If you want to bring this, if you want to, you don't have to show your camera if you don't want to. But I need more clarity on this. There you are. David,
Yes,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. So, okay, so I'm not sure on this question. He goes, the strategy is email campaign, but how do you bring in new patients without knowing their email? What, can you give me some clarity on that?
Yes. I mean, I'm not sure, but I have listened to your previous videos. That your strategy is about the email campaign, like marketing. So I do have a list of email. I don't know how many email I have, but those are all the patient from the past,
Yeah. Yep.
past campaign. But what about the future new patients? Like, I don't even know their name, first name, last name. Like there are many patients out there that are, could be my potential patient in future, but I don't have their.
Okay, so yeah, great question. So what you want to do is you want to use your existing list to market to them first. I want you to think of this as phases, okay? And when we market to the existing list, even if we don't have, let's say you have 1,000 names on the existing list, okay? Traditionally, you'll have about 400 names, 400 emails for those 1,000 names, because whatever, people don't always put their email down or staff don't always type it in. We can actually take that list and we can feed it through a system and we can get probably another 20% of those that will match. So we can take that to like 500 or 550 or so, okay? So what we do first is we market to that list. The revenue that we create, we take a portion of that revenue. I generally like people to take about 10% of the revenue that you generate off of that. And we're going to use that to do more marketing, because you can only live off your existing list for quite some time. So what I like to do is I like to market doing video. Some of my favorite things to do, I have clients, doctors of mine, that they post videos 2 to 3 times a week, short videos, a couple of minutes, and post those in a number of different areas, TikTok, things like that, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and it's answering all the questions that are going on in the prospect's head. Okay. So tell me, are you a podiatrist?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Podiatrist, yes.
Okay, great. So what are the top 2 or 3 reasons why patients come in to see you?
Well, first of all, my practice is mostly cash-based practice. It's about 90%-ish. I'm only currently taking 2 insurances. But those insurances are to be terminated in the next few months. So
okay, but just in general, like what it's not this question isn't related to whether or not you take insurance or not, but what are the top 3 reasons why people are coming to see you?
They will come to me because I offer exclusive programs that I pack into. It's called Clear Nail Program. It's like a special program that combined with so many things together to treat the discolored nail, like a toenail fungus. So,
okay, so they come to you for a discolored. Okay, so I'm not interested in the protocol. So how would they type their question into Google if they were searching? Like, would it be like how to get rid of discolored toenail? Like what's the 3 or 4 word sentence that they utter to you when they see you? Doctor, I'm here because I have blank.
It's a good questions. Most of my patients find me on my social media, like Facebook, Instagram. They see my before and after pictures. And
Okay,
yeah,
of the toe, of the discolored toenail.
yes,
Okay,
yeah, the results, yes.
so they're probably typing, "Why is my toenail discolored?" Right?
Maybe, I guess. I
Okay,
mean, maybe it could be another search scenario that they would type that in. Maybe they would find like toenail fungus doctor near me, or it could be many different scenario how they type in to the search.
right. And it's not that I need you to be right. I just as to how they, but like if you, okay, so let's just understand how most humans search. Okay, so most humans search is like I was just searching today. My stepdaughter needs to get her bed down to Wilmington. She's 4 hours away. And so I went online and I searched um, uh, cargo van rentals near me. Okay. Which then led to, and there's like a big, you know, there's a bazillion different things that you have in that. And you wind up doing a couple of different searches till you zero in on the thing that you want. Okay. And so this is what your prospect does. So they're not searching for the procedure. They're searching for like what's going on when they have a discolored toe nail. Like what is their pain with it?
No, it doesn't come with pain with this. They
Okay.
they are frustrated. Most of my patients are frustrated with like seeing multiple doctors, not getting any result they're looking for. Most of my patients on average have somewhere between, I mean, I treat various patients, like people will have 1 year, 5 year duration, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you name it. Um, yeah, but it's a good question you were asking, how do they find me? I just basically right now I'm currently running an advertising. Um, people will see sponsor ad on Facebook or Instagram, and
Mhm.
like it would be something like the hey,
Okay.
New
So
York.
why is my toe nail yellow? Okay.
Mhm.
So it is okay. So when I search, let me just share my screen. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen for everybody to see because this is really powerful. I'm going to show you how to make literally like 100 grand a month. Okay. So you have here, why is my toenail yellow? Okay.
Mhm.
I'll enlarge my screen. So this is probably how your prospect searches. Okay. So this is actually the title of a video. Why is my toenail yellow? Okay. Now, Google is so nice that they'll also tell us what else people are asking. How do I get rid of yellow toenails? What causes yellow toenails? Are yellow toenails serious? And do yellow toenails mean diabetes? So what we have here is you have 5 organic video topics that you need to create. So what you do is you create a video that is, why is my toenail yellow? And you go something like, hi, this is Dr. Matt, and today we're going to be talking about why is your toenail yellow? Well, in this video, we're going to go over how do you get rid of yellow toenails? What causes toenails to yellow? Are yellow toenails serious? And do yellow toenails mean diabetes? So let's go through the first. Let's start with the last one first. Do yellow toenails mean diabetes? And you go on and you spend about 60 seconds talking about that. And then you spend 60 seconds talking about, are yellow toenails serious? And then you spend 60 seconds and you work on down the line. So what you've done is you've created a long form video that's about 6 to 8 minutes in length. And what you've done is you've created short form video that they can edit out, that each one of these are 45 to 60 seconds. Okay. So this is a very powerful strategy that you can do that will, then you can take that and you can put it on things like, again, and I don't edit where I put them everywhere. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, everywhere. Okay. Then the other thing is you can get, so then if I go to what causes a toenail to yellow, so let's just go up here. What causes, whoops. Okay. Guess what? How do you fix yellow toenails? See, people also ask, what do yellowing toenails indicate? What deficiency causes yellow toenails? Why are only my big toenails yellow? Okay, it doesn't matter if you answered this question in a prior video, this is the next video. What causes a toenail to yellow? So you see what you're doing is, this is like, you wind up creating an environment where you dominate the entire market. Okay. And there's other people out there, big whoop, it doesn't really matter, because you can market this just in your local area and you can dominate your local area. Okay. So after you're generating cash from marketing to your email list, you can use this to generate more traffic. And remember, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. Okay. They don't buy from you, by the way, because of where you went to school. And they don't really care about your designation. They buy from you because they trust you, and they trust you because you're answering the questions that they have in video, right? So if you think about how you buy something, right? Like, this is how people make buying decisions. And if you're not out there with this type of organic information, they're going to wind up at your competitors, right? So this is a foundational strategy that all my clients use, and it works incredibly well. And you can usually get pretty good traction within about 4 weeks. So that's what I would do. Does that help?
Yes, it does help. Yes. Not most toenails are yellow. I said they have 5 different colors, but the yellow one are the most common one. But I do.
Okay. So do the whole thing. What are the other colors? Black, yellow, what else?
White, yellow, black, brownish. It could be mixed up of all.
Okay.
Those, yeah, that's pretty much it.
So that right there is like a year worth of content. So you go through all the yellows, you go through all the blacks, you go through all the browns, you go through the whites, right? And before you know it, I mean, if you're creating a video, if you're really aggressive and created a video every single week, at the end of the year, you've got 52 core videos, you've got, multiply that by 4, you've got 200 and whatever that is, 208 chunk videos. And shoot, I even have people that turn that into podcasts, and like, you could write a book out of it, right? Like, you're creating this content. People want to be educated. People are going to buy from you, because that's the second step on the stairway system. So the first step is the beachhead. The second step is educate and excite. And educate and excite happens before they buy. And if you want them to buy at premium prices, you have to educate them and you have to excite them, because they have to know, like, and trust you. So my clients that do this, they even have video running in the patient room before the doctor comes in, or the PA or the NP comes in, and they'll just walk in and the patient will go, I want that. That's what I want. And they'll drop 8 to 10 grand without even blinking an eye, because they feel like they are finally understood. Most patients don't feel like their doctor understands them or understands what they're going through.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
All right, cool. All right. Any other questions?
No, that was just my main question in the earlier I was asking.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
Good deal. Okay. And thank you for being on, David. I
Thank
appreciate it. Davender. And it's Davender, right? Do I have that correct?
Devinder.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. All right, let's go to the next one. This is from Daniel. And Daniel asks, he's got a pretty good long one here. What happens if you send out an interest email for a new procedure you're going to offer in order to collect the deposits to be used for the down payment for courses or equipment, and you don't hit your revenue goal? Assuming you refund the deposit, but what do you tell the patient? Well, we tell the patient, so it's funny, this is how we did the P-shot thing in our clinics at the Carolina Men's Clinic. And what we did was, we told the patient that we need to put a $500, you need to put a $500 deposit down to reserve your slot. And we told them, if we don't have enough interest, we are not going to move forward. We literally tell them, we are gauging interest to see if this is something our patients want. And we need them to vote by giving us a refundable $500 deposit. So we tell them right off the bat. We did this with think was we did a hair restoration program, and we thought it was going to do really, really well because we're like, oh my gosh, all these guys are bald, they're going to want hair. And it did not go well. We really struggled with it. And I know we refunded. We did it in a couple of different locations. We did well in Charlotte. We did not do well in Raleigh. In Raleigh, we refunded the money because there wasn't enough demand. And I think maybe we had like 7 people that signed up. So we just refunded their money. So that's what we do. And we just tell them, look, I'm sorry, we're not going to be doing this procedure at this time. There just wasn't enough interest. And they get it, right? And if they're really upset, then find somebody that can treat them. Okay, that's what I would do. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions on that one. Nope. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. This is from Charlene. And Charlene asks the question about staffing. That's all she typed was staffing. Okay, so staffing is a royal pain in the butt. Okay. I will tell you that we, in our program in Business Mastery Fellowship, we offer a training program on staffing. We utilize a company called Vinehouse out of England. Nancy Schlesinger is a very good friend of mine. I've known Nancy for almost 15 years, at least, probably 13, 15 years. And she is one of the best at comes to hiring. So with regards to staffing, let's just kind of talk about some of the reality of what we're dealing with right now. So in the market today, especially in the medical field, there is a significant shortage of quality staff. So there's a shortage of doctors. There's a shortage of, I was just talking to an anesthesiologist. They've got a huge shortage of anesthesiologists. There's a shortage of nurses. There's just an overall shortage. So there's shortages in every single industry right now. So what I would tell you is that first and foremost, you are going to have to pay more than market, because what's happening is the hospitals are actually overpaying for staff, and they've been, in a lot of cases, are actually having people do signing bonuses to get people to come in and work. And they're really enticing them with a lot of benefits. So you're up against a really big juggernaut. What a lot of my clients do is they will pay in the top 20 to 30% of the market. So let's say a front desk person is going to cost you $20 an hour, right? Normally it would cost you $20 an hour. Let's just say that's the average in your market. They'll pay $24 to $25 per hour for a really good front desk person, because you can't, if you don't pay enough, they're going to immediately start looking for another job. And what's going to happen is you're always going to be looking for somebody new, and that takes away from your ability to grow the business. Now, everybody's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay for that? Well, I'll show you how you pay for this. So let's just say we're going to pay that person $5 an hour more. Okay. So over the span of 2 weeks, that's an extra $400. And if there's 26 pay periods, that's an extra of $10,400 throughout the year. Okay. So it's an extra $400 a pay period. So if you follow our process of creating signature solutions and premium pricing, when you go to convert, and that's step 3 in the stairway system, then it basically pays for itself with one sale. Okay. I can't stress this enough. If you're worried, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I only charge $1,000 for a procedure, you're not charging enough. Okay. So that means in that case, you've got to sell 20 of them, which really isn't that much. It's less than 2 more a month. I mean, it's less than 2. It's like what, 1.6 more a month. So what I would do is I would raise prices. By the way, don't buy into this whole thing that, oh, my patients can't afford it, they're really price sensitive. I hear that all the time. It's not the case. They'll pay. You just haven't positioned things correctly. Okay. So with staffing, you're going to have to pay more. The second thing is, that's kind of the first thing is, and then the other thing is, you got to be really clear about what do you want. Most people run an ad and they run like looking for ninja front desk person, right? Or great team player. They write these like really awful ads. I'm going to tell you right now, the first thing your potential employee is looking for is how much am I going to pay and what else do I get? Tell that right off the bat. Like front desk position, paying $25 an hour, working in a whatever, whatever other benefits you want to get, and like 50% off aesthetic procedures or something like that. Now you're going to get somebody's attention. Then the rest of it is like kind of the filler of what you're looking for, but stay away from stuff like talking about how great you are and what a great team atmosphere. Like that's not, like nobody believes that. So like talk about the values, the culture of your organization. Talk about the values of your organization, but don't do what everybody else says is a really, really great place. And like, don't do that. Like in my ads, what we do is we talk about, we are, so the pay will be whatever, $30 an hour. We have, work from home, really flexible hours. You don't have to go into an office. We're very, we're pretty loose structure in our company. And then I tell them, if you have ever been frustrated with your healthcare, we are solving that problem by helping doctors get out of insurance-based care. And we're looking for people that are just as tired and frustrated with the healthcare system as our doctors are, and who have a passion of helping people, and like to learn and grow. And we look for people that have been through difficult times and survived and come out of it stronger. Those are the things that we look for in our team. Okay, so then the next thing with regards to staffing is when you onboard people, you have to have a process through which you onboard them. Most people screw this up dramatically. Oh, it's first day. Shit, I forgot they were coming in, and they do this and they do that. And then, they hear, once you go work with Frank, and Frank's really kind of a jerk and tells them how awful you are. Like, you've got to manage this whole thing. So we have an entire onboarding process and sequence that we take people through, and they don't get to interact with their patients until they go through it. Okay. So staffing is huge. It's big. Most people don't pay enough. Most people are trying too hard to save money on that. It's your number one investment, your staff. And the last thing I'll say is, when it comes to hiring like front desk people or things like that, you do not need to hire medical people. The only place you're going to hire medical people is like medical assistants, your MAs or med techs, depending on what you call them, or obviously your medical staff, but like your salespeople, your people that are closing patients, your patient coordinators, things like that, patient counselors, your front desk people, they do not need to have a medical background. In fact, if they do, they'll probably screw it up because they're going to always want to talk about insurance. So, okay, I hope that one helps. Again, kind of hard because I didn't have that great of a question. It was just staffing. So, all right, next one is Jose. Let's see what Jose has to say here. Let's see. You're starting a practice, could be just cash, or is it recommended to keep some insurance? Well, Jose, it depends on what you're doing. Okay. In the regenerative space, I will tell you, it actually is kind of wise to use insurance as a way to pay for the office visit. About 50 to 60% of my orthobiologics regenerative doctors will do that. They actually structure it so that the office visit, when they run their ads, will be like, oh, and the office visit is covered by insurance. Now, you're never going to make any money on that, right? That's not the point. The office visit is not designed to make you money. It's designed to get people in. Now, the problem then lies is, well, then they might think that the rest of the procedures are going to be covered by insurance. And that's something that you handle in office. You do not handle that on the phone when they're booking an appointment, okay? And the reason why is you need to be able to state your case. If you just tell them right off the bat of, oh, and the rest of this isn't covered by insurance, they're going to go click because they don't know what you do, okay? So you got to get them into the office. You've got to, have walk through kind of your indoctrination process, meet the staff, watch video testimonials from other patients that have been very, very successful. So in the regen space, I like to do that. In the men's sexual health, women's sexual health, anti-aging, functional medicine, it doesn't work to keep insurance in any way, shape, or form. And then medically guided weight loss, no, it doesn't make any sense. Really, the only one that, in my view, that it really makes sense to keep the insurance payers is for the regenerative orthobiologic space. Okay. All right. So, and by the way, with starting, if you're starting, I would only do it in regenerative. I have one client that tries to do it in menopause, and it's just awful. It's horrible. So she started it, and then she's getting rid of it. So, okay, next one that I'm gonna is Ruthie. Let's see what Ruth has to say here. Okay, another one is ask Matt, use Instagram. I don't really know what you're asking. I think you're asking, should I use Instagram? The answer to that, the short answer is yes, I would use all of them because you don't know where your prospect is going to come. And frankly, a lot of the tools today that are out there, yeah, and you're in integrative health and personalized beauty. So yeah, Instagram is great in the cosmetic. I will tell you, if you are in the cosmetic space, you need to be doing it on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook extensively. I would still do it on LinkedIn, believe it or not. I would do it in LinkedIn. I would do it. I would have it on YouTube. I would post it everywhere I possibly can. Lots of before and afters. One of our top clients is Dee Fongood, Dr. Dee Fongood. She is outside of Washington, D.C., and she does laser hair removal for women of color. And she does about $40,000 a month, and she does it all with TikTok and Instagram. And she does organic. She doesn't pay for traffic. She does it all via organic. So I'm a big fan, and I would definitely check that out. Again, if you were in Business Mastery Fellowship, you get Dee's training for free. Again, I'm not a shameless plug, but a bit of a shameless plug. But that's okay though. I really don't. I don't mind offering up a shameless plug. That's perfectly fine for me. Okay. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put that link in here for those of you that want to find out more about that. I'll just put this in the chat over here so you can see it, and I'll show you that page in just a minute, and then you can all check that out. But if you want to go to thepracticeprofitsystem.com/16 week, the number 16 and then week singular, you can check it out and you can read about our Business Mastery Fellowship. Okay, and I'll talk more about that as we get towards the end here. Okay, so let's see what we have next. The next one is John. And I know John's in the med spa space. Let's see what John has to say. Okay, just wanted to watch the replay of the game. Can't make it. Okay, cool. So he doesn't have a question. So he's a member of another, he's in Business Mastery Fellowship. So yes, everybody will get a copy of this. We'll post this up so you can get a copy of it as well. Let's see. Next one is Wade. We're going to go to Wade and see what Wade. He said, Matt, I've been listening to your podcast for a long time. I'm a family medicine palliative care physician in Canada. I'm doing hormone replacement training with Donna White, BHRT Academy. Donna rocks. In fact, Donna, her boyfriend and my wife are going to dinner on tomorrow night. And he's in her academy and wants to start moving it into his private practice space. Seems daunting. Do you have any clients who are running private pay clinics up here in Canada? The answer is abso-freaking-lutely. Okay, so I'll tell you about Dr. Mark Hawaz, who is in Toronto. And Mark came to me about 2 years ago, and he's a PM&R, and he had tried unsuccessfully to kind of really get, he had a location, but he was just struggling getting it going. And he thought that he would only be able to charge $750 for a PRP injection. He frankly didn't think with the national health care in Canada, he didn't think that people would pay out of pocket. And I told him, I said, people always pay out of pocket. I mean, we have nationalized health care here. It's called Medicare and Medicaid, and people pay for it all the time. And so, I mean, obviously we don't have the nationalized health care to the extent the Canadians do. So he actually charges today $8,300 for a procedure. That's his average, and he gets it. He does $60,000 to $80,000 a month, somewhere in that neighborhood, and he works 6 days a month. Okay. So what I would tell you is, yeah, it seems daunting. So the first thing I would do is I would run an email campaign of 5130 Wade to your house list to get people interested in doing HRT. Then the next thing I would do is I would charge them, I would give them an option where they could pay for the program upfront for the year, or they can, they could do an upfront fee and then kind of like just, pay monthly. There's a couple different ways you can structure it. But most likely you are going to undercharge, okay? And I'm going to speak in American dollars here. So a lot of people undercharge and think that, well, I've got to be competitive on the pricing. You don't need to be competitive on any pricing, because here's the deal. If you go around and you call around to all the other doctors and you see what they were charging, the thing you need to remember is they're all broke doctors and they don't know what the hell they're doing. So you don't want to set your pricing based on what a bunch of broke doctors do. And here's the other thing. Medicine is not commoditized, okay? Medicine is based on results, it's not based on price. So would you go to the cheapest cardiologist out there? No, not at all, right? And if you listen to the podcast, you've heard me say this over and over again, okay? So it does seem daunting. The thing I would tell you, Wade, is do you have someone that's mentoring you through this? You think about this, what you do as a doctor. When you wanted to learn BHRT, you made an investment and you decided to learn from Donna about how to do BHRT. And you paid her a fee, and she and her team were coaching and mentoring you on the technical side of it. Well, if you want to start moving into the private practice space and have a cash practice outside of the hands of the government in Canada, you can try to figure this out on your own, or you could have a mentor. Now, I'll tell you, I have mentors all the time in my life. In fact, next week, I'm going to make a post about the mentor who's a couple of mentors who impacted my life the most positive over the years. Okay. One of them is a guy by the name of Rob Berkeley. And I worked with Rob for, 10 years. Unfortunately, he passed away a number of years ago. But anyway, you have to have a mentor that's showing you the way. And I have different mentors in different areas of my life. And so you have to have someone who is coaching and mentoring you. If you do not have somebody who is coaching you and mentoring you on how to start a cash-based practice, you have to. You have no choice. You have to get a mentor. You have to get somebody who has done this before you. Okay. Now, obviously, I would recommend that you hire me and our team. What we do is is proven to work, and everything that we share with our doctors, we do in our clinics today. Okay, so I still own clinics today. I own clinics I have 7 clinics that I own. I'm in the process of closing on 2 more, and probably by the end of summer, we'll be up to 10. Okay. So everything that we do, we run in our clinics today. So everything that I share with you is what we do in our clinics today, and it's proven to work. So you need to get somebody who's going to show you the business side of how to do this, who's going to take you by the hand and show you the step-by-step process. We do that in what's called Business Mastery Fellowship, okay? It's designed to be a fellowship just like you would if you were to go to learn how to do BHRT or knee surgery, you would go do a fellowship. And so at the time of this recording, that does start on Wednesday. I will email you the link, and I will put that up for everybody. In fact, what I'll do is, let me just share my screen and I can just show this to you really quickly so you can get an idea of where to go. So let me just go here. And let's see, we don't need this anymore. All right, so there we go. So it's a 16-week program. We have our summer 2023 Business Mastery Fellowship coming up, and you'll get 20 CME credits when you complete the course. Plus, we have an ironclad guarantee that you'll make at least $20,000 in new revenues without running any new ads, or we'll give you your money back, no questions asked. Okay, so I would really highly recommend that you take a look at this. You can go to the practiceprofitsystem.com/16-week. I'll pull it up in just a minute. There's a lot of testimonials on here, right? And what we do is we just charge you $400 a week. That's all we do. So it's $400 a week for 16 weeks. And what we do is it's actually 8 group calls with me over the month. There's a quarterly mastermind meeting that's done virtually. You have access for your entire team. We're going to done for you market on our list, and you can pay weekly. And plus, what I do is I take you through the entire 16-week program, or 12-week 12 module program of the Business Mastery Fellowship. And you can see all kinds of results here, right? There's case studies after case studies, more case studies, a bunch of frequently asked questions. So I would check that out. I would highly recommend that you check that out because it's our flagship program. So that's one of the things that I would recommend that you take a look at doing. Is if you really want to grow your cash practice, you need someone who's going to show you the way. You can't do this on your own. Okay. It's really, really hard. Okay. So I hope that helps. All right. Next is going to be Gary. And by the way, if I don't have any other questions, whenever I'm done with the questions, if I don't have anybody else online, I'm going to go ahead and just, I'll end the call, but, okay. So this is from Gary. Gary is up in beautiful Minnesota, and he's asking, it's converting from insurance to cash pay, pricing and marketing. Okay, so Gary, I would need to know, like, what are you going to be doing? Like, what kind of procedure are you doing? Is it going to be regenerative, right? Is it going to be anti-aging? Because that's going to dictate everything. So if you could, what I'll do is I'll have Tim reach out to you on my team, and he can answer that question for you. That's probably the best thing. I'll have him reach out to you, see your contact information in here. All right, last one is from Christine. Christine down in Fort Lauderdale. Christine is in the middle of starting her very first cash practice. So, all right, let's see what Christine has to say. I'm opening a business. I have no contacts in the area. I have no patient base. How do I get patients? I'm not a Kardashian. I do not want my face on videos for social media. How do I advertise? Would using AI for my advertising be okay? Do I need to have an employee from the beginning? I was planning on waiting until I was earning money. I'm assuming you don't know the answer to this, but perhaps where can I find the answer? These seem stupid, but again, I don't know anyone else in the area that I can ask. And if I did, I would tell them, would they tell me? I would be their competition. So here's some basic questions. What's the best EMR to use for a simple cash-based practice? I don't know. Everybody uses something different. Dr. Kronos is one that a lot of people use. I do know that for basic work. Where do you buy your supplies? So if you need, it depends on what you're doing, Christine, but I would check out Plymouth Medical, contact Joanne Tremblay. If you need like machines and things of that nature, I would do that. I would contact Joanne at Plymouth Medical. She's got a lot of those things. As for local supplies like gauze and needles and things like that, McKesson, if they're in your area, there's a couple of different providers. You can go off of Amazon, but Amazon, you might just pay a little bit more. I do know some people that do that. We do it sometimes in our facilities. I'll be very frank with you. I am out. I don't really handle any of the day-to-day purchasing of those things, but McKesson is one that we use. I forget what McKesson has been renamed to. We have bought off of Amazon. If you just type in medical supply companies, you'll get a list of them in your area. Do I find a local pharmacy to provide you with IV solutions? Yeah, you can. So basically what you're doing is you're going to be really what you need is the bags and then the medications that go in there. So again, a medical supply company like a McKesson may have them. That's how I would structure that, like all your butterfly needles and all of that. Like you're going to be able to get those all from like a McKesson type. Number 5, if I offer mobile house calls, how much more should I charge for that? A lot. I would make mobile house calls only for my top end clients. Those are the only people that I would make it available to, is I would only make it available to my top end clients. I would not make that my core business strategy. You're going to lose a lot of time going from place to place. And you're not going, while it's going to be very convenient, it's not going to be overly convenient for you. And the few doctors that do this for me, or that work with me, they actually only make that available to their platinum level people, that they'll come to their place and do IVs, and there's an extra upcharge for it. Do I happen to know someone you can ask legal questions about who can perform my procedures in my practice? It will be in Florida. So I don't know any lawyers. I can't give you any medical advice, legal advice. However, I can tell you that in Florida, nurse practitioners, PAs, I think LPNs can all do injections, right? Other procedures where you're not breaking the skin can be handled by a medical technician. The good news is Florida is actually pretty wide open. If you go to your medical board should be able to give you a summary of that. Would you know of someone that can provide malpractice insurance, and would it cover me in multiple states? Oh God. We use Presidio, I think, is who we use for most of our stuff. Again, I'll be very frank, I don't deal with that day in and day out. There's another person on my team that does. Most of my doctors handle that locally, and they have somebody that they have. Covering in multiple states. Yeah, I mean, they can, as long as you're licensed, they can get you covered. So let's go back to some of this. So you have no contacts in the area, I have no patient base. How do I get patients? And I'm going to put this together with you're not a Kardashian and you don't want your face on videos for social media. So how do you advertise? Okay, one, I would not use AI for your video advertising. At this point, the initial tests that we have run on that have been mediocre. I think we're a little bit away from that actually being a viable option. So the concept of using AI generated people on video is not fully there just yet. Okay. So you have two different ways that you can do video. One, you can hire somebody to be the face and they do the videos for you, or you can do the videos. Now, the first thing I will tell you is the best way is for you to do the videos. I know you say you're not a Kardashian. By the way, neither am I. Okay. Neither are any of my doctors. But at the end of the day, people are doing business with you. And even my most introverted doctors, Dee will tell you the exact same thing. She's incredibly introverted. It's in the best interest that if you do the videos, okay, that's the best interest. Now, I know that's not the answer you want to hear, but people are going to buy from you because they know, like, and trust you. If you're really adverse to doing that, then you can get hired help. You can get hired professional talent to do that. You're going to pay significantly more. Okay. For somebody who's good and somebody that you can use over and over again, because you're going to want to use the same person or the same two people, you're going to need, you're going to pay more for that. Okay. And it's going to shoot your cost up exponentially. You're going to have a studio, professional recording, you have to pay that person. They may want to have you pay royalties on them. AI just frankly is not there yet. Okay. So what I would ask is, Christine, I would ask, what is it that you are so against with regards to you being the face of your company? I would dig into that. Okay. So, because the best way for you to get patients is to do education material and ask for people to book you. And you do that via video, and you take that video and you turn it into a podcast. If it's somebody else, then they have the relationship with that person, not you. Imagine if I didn't do my videos. Imagine if I didn't do my podcast. Okay. Imagine if I wasn't the one who spoke at the event where we met, right? Imagine if it was somebody else. It's just not as powerful. Okay. And so I would want to dig into this whole concept of you don't want to be that front facing person. If you don't do that, and social media is not a horrible, unless you're like in the witness protection program. If you're not willing to do that, then you have to get a third party and then advertise. You know, you're going to do a lot of keyword work. You're going to do video search engine optimization, SEO. The other thing you can do is when people go to your site, you retarget them with Facebook ads and Google AdWords. So when somebody shows to the site, you can follow them around with your ads. It's the same thing that happens when you go to Amazon, look to buy a pair of shoes, and then it follows you on every site that you're on. Okay, so excuse me. You can look at radio and TV. It's incredibly expensive. So I would not look at doing that right off the bat. You can advertise paid traffic on YouTube. It is powerful. You'll have to get a commercial made. So those are some of the things you can do. Do I need to have an employee from the beginning? It just depends, right? Like, I would tell you it's better if you have somebody. It depends on how much money you're willing to invest in the advertising. If you're investing more, then yeah, I would get somebody on board sooner than later. I always start with having an employee on board because it kind of pushes me to get things going. So I hope those are answered for you. I hope that helps. Okay, so let's see if I have any other questions that have come in. And what I'm going to do is I've got a couple of other questions that were emailed in. So let me go into this. Let's see. So here's another question that has come in, and this is from Samantha. And she said, are your orthobiologics doctors taking insurance for an HA steroid shot or ultrasound scan referrals from insurance and then sell them in a PRP package for cash? Is this why it makes sense to take insurance as an ortho doc? Yeah. So here's the deal. They use the appointment, they use the insurance appointment to bring them in. They may want to talk about steroids. Like, so let's say the patient wants to talk about doing a steroid shot. Well, what Schachter does is he goes, well, we don't do steroid shots anymore, and here's why. Weakens the ligament, doesn't have any long-term, really not changing the structure. It's not really causing a structural fix, anything like that. And he goes, we have something that's better. And mind you, by the time they've already met with Dr. Schachter or one of his teammates, while they're sitting in the patient room, there's a TV running and it's got testimonial videos in a short 5-minute video loop that talks about regenerative and things like that. And so when he walks in, they're like, I want that. Okay. So yeah, you can market and say, steroid shots if you want, or HA, or ultrasound scans. But then you basically want to say, well, again, we're not doing steroids, we're not doing ultrasound, or we're not doing HA because we have a better way, and it's called PRP. And again, here's the thing, 62% of people that have corporate health plans have a $10,000 deductible for their family. So they'll pay, right? They're paying out of pocket anyway, so they'll pay. Okay. So I hope that answers your question. Let me see what other questions I have here. Let me pull a couple of other things up. And again, if I don't have any other questions, folks, I'm not going to stay on. I'm not going to just hang out. So let me just go over here. I know I got one more in here that I think came in, and I just want to double check. My staff has been forwarding these to me. If you have any other questions, you can put them in the chat in LinkedIn. You can put them in the chat in Zoom. I'm happy to answer those for you. So just give me 1 second. What I would tell you is, if you want to look at more of doing some work with me directly, what I would recommend that you do is go check out thepracticeprofitsystem.com/16-week. That is our flagship business mastery fellowship program. It starts on Wednesday, and it is by far it's actually by far our best program. Like, it's our most well-known program. That's where everybody starts. So let's see. Let's see. I got to double check. No, that's not it. Let me just see. I want to make sure I have any other last questions that have come in. Let's see. LinkedIn. Okay. I think I'm good. Okay. I just want to double check this, make sure I'm not missing any more. If you have any other questions, let me see here. I believe that's it. I don't have any other questions that are coming into the system at this time. Let me just double check one last place. See here, LinkedIn. Okay, great. Yep, you're welcome, Sam. Yeah, I would definitely do that. I would, run it, bring them in. It's a cheap way to get leads coming in, right? So if nobody else has any other questions, we're at the top of the hour. I know I said I would go for 2 hours, but hey, we're done. I will tell you this real quickly. If you have any interest in growing your practice, I would recommend that you do what's called our Business Mastery Fellowship program. And it is starting next week. Let me just show you a couple of things really, really quickly about it. This is the same program that Dr. Don Buford is in, that has doubled his practice size from 55,000 to 125,000 a month. Did that in 60 days. Most of our clients, I should say our average client, adds in $65,000 in new revenue in 90 days. So I would definitely check that out. Again, that's the practiceprofitsystem.com/16-week. It is by far, again, this takes you through an entire foundational program. So let me just show you a couple of quick things on this. And I just want to put the page up so you all can see it. Let me just pull this up one more time. Here we go. There we go. Great. So if you want to take advantage of this, I would check out Business Mastery Fellowship. It's the practiceprofitsystem.com/16-week. This is the same program that Tracy Page went from startup to $109,000 from May to January. So Christine, that's something that I would seriously consider. This is the same program Dr. Kane Lai, who has multiple locations throughout the US now, has gone through. This is just a small list of our clients who have doubled their revenues in the program. Don Buford, Ariana Demirs, Nicole Garcia, Dr. Mark Pietrapelli, Dr. Tracy Gappin, Dr. Amrish Patel, Josh Schachter, Dr. Holthauser, Dr. Tracy Page, Tom Nabity, John Santa Ana, Ian Duffy, David Crolin, Mark Hawaz, Roy Hall, Kane Lai. We want to put your name there. And the goal of this is very simple. I want you to double your revenues at least during the program, during the 16 weeks. I want you to increase your profits to 20%. I want you to double your salary. I want you to take 4 weeks off a year, no check-ins, no laptop. And within 3 years, I want your business to be exitable. You can either sell or you can move from being an owner. I want you to be an owner, not a day-to-day operator. So the reason why we call it Business Mastery Fellowship is very simple. It's designed to be the same thing that you would go through in your own space. Like if you wanted to learn how to do PRP, you would do a fellowship, right? So that's what this program is all about. So I would, again, can't highly recommend it enough. You can go to thepracticeprofitsystem.com/16-week and take a look at all of the testimonials of people that have been through the program and hear from them. So, okay, I don't think I have any other questions coming in. Let me just double check one last time, see if I have anybody else that has asked a question. I don't think I do. I'm going to double check one last time, see if there's anybody asking the question online. Nope. All right, so that's it. We're going to call this a wrap. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for coming to the first Ask Me Anything.